us the latest in that regard. There is the main man. A very good morning, my brother. What is the latest coming in from Entebbe? Ivan Lunyolo, very good morning, my brother. What's the latest?
At 56 square miles away, that's the southwest of Kampala, there lies Entebbe municipality, which was the first capital city of the country in the colonial times. But of course, when the city status were transferred to Kampala, Entebbe declined and lost its glory at this time when it is grappling to again reseek or regain city status. But since then, the concerned people, the residents who have come up, raised their voices through writing that the history of the polite in Entebbe should be told to the public, and that the pride of Entebbe is one of those popular pages that have been sharing this information, telling people on where what. And Entebbe stands out to hold its legacy. It's the recreational center of the country, of course, with all the beaches, the best hotels, the only international airport and state house, the history and legacy and hotels. But with me is the co-founder of the Pride of Entebbe, one of the popular pages that are sharing information. And Charles Nakana is here with me on the show. Charles, welcome to Morning at NTV.
It's my pleasure. You missed informing the viewers, the only peninsular town in the whole of this country. We are blessed to be in a peninsula. And that's why Entebbe is it's a pride in this country and the rest of the world.
Why the Pride of Entebbe?
Pride of Entebbe, we realize that apart from we, the bonds in Entebbe, the only way we can give back to this country and our town is celebrating our culture, our people, our history, promote our tourism. That's why when you visit Pride of Entebbe, you'll see the history of this town. So as we who are born in this town, we are the custodian of this town, preserving the culture and the history of this town. And
why are you only motivated to write about Entebbe?
Yeah, because it was one of the first capitals in East Africa. Formerly, we know Entebbe, but it was Port Alice, the first capital in East Africa. So such a heritage, as a writer, it's my work to preserve it for more other generations to come.
What are you driving at when you write about Entebbe, the pride of Entebbe? What are you driving at?
I'm showcasing to the world that the best pride is in Entebbe. We have the only zoo in Entebbe. We have we have the airport. Remember, our airport has been in the history. During the raid of the 1976, that raid that took place. So, a mere mention of Entebbe all over the world is accustomed to many people. The raid of the raid of Entebbe Airport. Of course, not mentioning the late Idi Amin. Most of the history is also accustomed to Amin in Entebbe. And I remember we had the first capital in Entebbe. The first administration capital by the colonists was in Entebbe. So Entebbe, first of all, having the best weather in East Africa. So we, as a native, as a writer, my preservation of this town is showcasing to the world that we still stand out the best. Despite of the weather changes in the world, Entebbe is never affected.
Yes, we know that it's the recreation center of the country, having, hosting all these beaches and what. But someone is asking, what are you trying to sell in Entebbe? Are you selling the beauty of it? Are you selling the polite that it has all these beaches? What are you looking at in all your...
Besides the whole setup, if you look at Entebbe itself, we are blessed to be in a peninsula. In Entebbe, we have the best beaches. So far, in the history of this country, we are the only town with over 10 or 15 beaches. So with all that history tourism we have, we are trying to create more tourism opportunities to the rest of the world. That Entebbe is the destination in a small destination. So now that we are getting back into a second city, formerly Entebbe was a city, the first capital. So we're now going back to another city, which is the new city coming. So we are blessed to have a city, once a city.
But are you trying to tell us that, because we know the glory was lost and Entebbe is still grappling, of course, with a few other things there, but are you trying to tell us that this was not told before and that's why you're coming
actually, Entebbe's glory has never been lost. Whoever touches on Entebbe, their first statement is one: this land is beautiful. All the presidents governing the whole world, Entebbe is the first destination they land. So we are proud to say, pride of Entebbe.
So, Charles, we want to understand, where are we getting this history? Because some of the amenities we know have been redeveloped into other things. But then where are you getting this information? I'm sure you are not there in the colonial times. Where do you get this information?
Sometimes it's very absurd that as Entebbe, a little bit of history has been destroyed. But as you know, pride of Entebbe, when I write beautiful stories, people all over Europe who have lived in Entebbe, they still hold those pictures. So they send them to me. A case study of Indians who are expelled in Uganda, when they go to Pride of Entebbe, the nostalgia forces them to send me pictures to showcase what was in Entebbe that today is not seen. So most of the history is being kept by people living in Europe. So Pride of Entebbe has come out to celebrate that history through showcasing to the new generation that is coming that Entebbe is still a destination. Entebbe holds the history. That's why we're out here to preserve our history, our culture, talk about our people, but besides it, we are preserving the history of Entebbe.
When people come to the country, Entebbe is just their residential area. They stay in hotels and work. What don't people know about Entebbe?
Well, the other thing people don't know about Entebbe is we have the first parliament in Entebbe.
But it's now Naro. Naro uses it as...
Naro uses it as office. But still, the heritage is still standing there. We have the only botanical gardens in this country. We have the only zoo in this country. We have the cannon, the only cannon in this country, which is facing the Entebbe Municipal Council, which many people know as Muzinga Park. So with Entebbe, we only have the only one road from the airport to Kampala, the only road that was once in Entebbe. So with Entebbe, the history of Entebbe is very expansive. So as Pride of Entebbe, we've come out to show the rest of the world that Entebbe has all it takes to be a destination. So as we fight for Entebbe to become a city, already there's a lot that is existing for this town to be a city.
There's some things that were there back, but then you hardly see them. The rallies that were done at Botanical Gardens, I am sure all roads would lead to the Botanical Gardens when there were rallies, motocross done. That side, we no longer have them.
Well, as a conservationist and as a writer, I didn't love rallying to be in Botanical Gardens, and I strongly fought it. You cannot have a rally in the Botanical Gardens.
But it was for recreation. People would come around, go to the beaches and swim after the rally. That was the fun.
It was good, but it didn't bring out the whole impact. Botanical Gardens is a gardens for a lot of things take place there. I mean, we are preserving the history. There are many plants there. Just imagine this car went off the road and hit the only remaining tree. So I don't think rallying Botanical Gardens was worth it.
But still, it's like the norm in Entebbe has changed. When you go to most of the hotels, even when they speak to you in terms of currency, dollar, everything. So that means Entebbe now stands out to be for only foreigners, and people do not talk about shillings. They think Entebbe is expensive. You can't stay in Entebbe. You need to have dollars, tens and thousands of dollars for you to stay in Entebbe.
Well, besides the tradition initially, hotels in Entebbe initially used to be for dollars, but today the trend has changed. We have Airbnb. We have now many hotels now. They accept both local currency. These days, you enter a hotel. There's MomoPay. They ask you, are you using a card? MomoPay, Airtel. So I think the trend is changing with the changing environment of this town. The trend is changing. So I think Entebbe, we are even set for a city. Initially, we had everything there and then, but right now, we are getting there.
When this COVID came, the silence fell on the only recreation, the beaches, the silence, you can feel it. And I think it's partly one of the, income earners that the municipal council was supporting itself, and now you no longer see beaches so functional. And as we grapple to return to a city now, what do you think should be focused on to keep the status and the polite of Entebbe?
Well, first of all, COVID came, and it really affected all the sectors regardless. And in this country, the truth is COVID affected Entebbe. Entebbe, we have all the best hotels, the best beaches, all the recreations. The number of people lost their jobs. So I think now that it's my desire that the medicine is got, because Entebbe, as we all know Entebbe, it was a destination. For people who live in Entebbe, seeing whites on the streets, it's a norm. It's a norm. seeing whites in the market, it's a norm. So may I think COVID took us back, but still, as a town, we are on a journey of self-discovery, besides the COVID.
In your writings, I've read one of your poems say Entebbe is going to be the only tourism city. And you know, as we draw closer there, what is really that one thing that makes us outstanding? Because we were not even a priority among those that were first granted, and we're the first capital city.
Well, because if you look at the heritage of this town, we are partially centered to acquire the status. Whoever comes in Entebbe lands at the airport. Between the airport and Kampala, we have the express highway. We have all the best hotels in Entebbe. We have all the social amenities in Entebbe. Entebbe is a free disease town. Remember, besides Entebbe, it's a very clean town, a very laid-back town, very quiet. Anyone who comes to Entebbe, their first statement is a very quiet town, very clean. One of the first cleanest cities in this country, with many awards, being clean. Yes, we are in the footsteps of Fort Portal as a tourism city. But as we, Entebbe, we are the first priority to tell the world it's the center of tourism within this country. Fort Portal is good. They have the mountains. We have the airport. We have the lake. I think it's the only town, as you enter Entebbe, you enter through the lake. You land in Entebbe, you land through the lake. So it's a pride when you tell people. We are proud of it.
Charles, thank you for your time with us on Morning at NTV. Wow. Charles Nyakana is the co-founder of the Pride of Entebbe, the man who is behind laying out the information and telling the world that Entebbe still stands, speaking to us this morning. And the Morning at NTV continues from here in Entebbe, back to you in the studios.
Ivan Herman Wolonyolo, thank you very much from that report from Entebbe.